All right. So apparently the stream cut out. It was like a couple minutes ago, but I'm back now. If you guys are still here with me, if you're not, that's cool too. But we got the Raiders just picked Nate Hobbs out of Illinois. I kind of talked about him a little bit earlier. Super athletic, crazy production in college, but definitely a Raiders pick there. When I said they were going to pick somebody fast, they kind of did. So we're on the clock with the Vikings now. They're looking at safety, maybe offensive tackle, maybe linebacker once again, maybe a cornerback. Don't have too many needs, honestly. Even though they have center listed too. We'll just see. Did that go or not? Hold on. So the Vikings went with Zach Davidson. It's kind of an interesting pick there, but definitely adds some length at least to their tight end room. Then, let's see. So the Browns are up next. Browns are another team that doesn't have a lot of holes, so they'd be a real interesting pick too. Davidson's kind of one of them upside picks, especially at tight end too. You know, he could turn into something really good, or he could just disappear into the sunset essentially. But yeah, Browns, they could go after an edge rusher, I guess. So they play. Let's see who we got here. I think Quincy Roche could definitely play 4-3 still. I think he might be a little bit better in 3-4. Same thing with Dalen Hayes here. Shakatoni, same thing. Bradley King, same thing. Taron Jackson might be the best 4-3 available. Jonathan Cooper's there too. Those guys could be interesting. I don't think Malik Herring gets drafted at this point in time. They could go... What else could they go with? Like, they could go offensive line. They don't have a lot of needs. Like, I feel like if you could, you just trade this pick back for picking next year's draft, because next year's draft should be better than this one, at least in terms of depth and talent. But there is a lot of depth in this class, just not as many players total available for the draft class overall. So for picks in next year's class, and plus they'll have more time to scout these kids as well. But let's see. So the Browns, I don't know who the heck they're going to take, honestly. I'll say Taron Jackson out of Coastal Carolina. It's probably not going to be right, though. Let me see, though. Yeah, I don't know who they're going to pick, honestly. They could pick another... Maybe they pick another defensive tackle. Maybe they pick Marvin Wilson and just load up on a position, hope one of the guys hits. Let's see. Some Browns, we're still waiting on the Browns. Then we got the Rams up next. They need offensive line, but there ain't much left. Like, it's all guards. Ravens, you can kind of see the same thing for. Maybe they draft another edge rusher. I wouldn't be surprised if the Ravens draft another edge rusher. I wouldn't be surprised if Rams draft an edge rusher either. They could draft safety too. There's still a lot of safeties out there. And like I said earlier, they don't need a safety, but it wouldn't hurt them to develop one as well. The 6th round, so this is a round earlier than that as well. So Browns take Richard Leconte out of Georgia. He's an okay safety. He's probably more of a depth piece than anything, but you know, if Grant Delpit isn't healthy, I guess you could throw him in and he probably wouldn't be the worst thing in the world either. Probably be good on special teams. I believe he was the captain in the Georgia defense for a couple of years too, so definitely good leadership traits and stuff like that. So in a 5th round, probably not a high upside guy, but you know, a guy that has a decent floor and can play special teams and all that type of stuff. Looks like the Texans actually traded up with the Rams now, so let's see what my Texans get. Is it going to be another offensive player, or are we going to roll with some defensive linemen? I feel like this could be Marvin Wilson. Could be. We'll see. Could be a corner too. It could be Tay Gowan. I'd be okay with that. Actually, those are the two guys on the screen. I didn't even look there, and I was just talking about it. The best available has been Tay Gowan for a while too. So. Who is it going to be? So we got Texans, Ravens, 49ers, and then back to the Packers. Who knows? The Packers GM could be fired by the end of this draft because apparently Aaron Rodgers wants him fired. Don't think that's going to happen, but you never know. Maybe he saw the Royce Newman pick and he's like, hey, what? I don't know. If I was the Texans, who am I trading up for here? I don't even know who they're trading up for. Like, honestly. They could take linebacker, I guess. They could take linebacker, safety, corner. I think it's a defensive pick, though. I could be wrong. Could be. I wouldn't be mad if it was Trey Smith, though. Let me see who we got, though. Who is it? Who is it? Okay. So side note, picks that get traded take forever. All the other picks are just like right there. Wonder what they traded to get this pick though. Because they had a couple 6th-round picks. I wonder if they traded like 2 6th-round picks for this pick. So Garrett Wallow out of TCU. Not the biggest fan of that pick, or at least trading up to make that pick. I don't think there's many teams ahead of us that were going to pick Garrett Wallow. I don't think it's the worst pick in the world, but it's kind of like a developmental linebacker. Could have some, he's got decent traits, but I don't think he's going to be much of a linebacker at the NFL level. Probably a replacement level player more than anything. Ravens are on the clock now, so still could use some offensive line. Maybe they trade Drake Jackson here. I think that'd be an interesting pick as well. They could go with another edge rusher, kind of like I mentioned before. Safety is definitely in play. Not too much else, really. We'll see, though. So the pick's in pretty quick on this one once again, so we'll just see how quickly it gets up here for us. So, I'm trying to think of who the Texans are. So I'm not a big fan of the Texans draft so far, honestly. Which, it's better than last year's, though. Last year's was just terrible. Terrible, terrible. Like, you could have just traded all the picks and it would have been better because, like, none of those guys they drafted did anything. And, like, when they were drafted, I knew they weren't going to do anything, essentially. So this is Dalen Hayes out. Oh, I'll take the credit on that one. I think this is a pretty good pick. I don't mind Dalen Hayes. I think it's a good edge rusher. Might not be too much at the NFL level, but maybe develop him a little bit, gets a little bit better. Could be a sneaky good pass rusher in time, So now we got the 49ers. And let's see. They're kind of like where they're at already. I mean, they could take center. They could take Drake Jackson and let him sit behind Alex Mack, because Alex Mack is not spring chicken. Be a good transition there. Why do you get wide receiver down? I don't get that. Brandon Ayuk, Deebo Samuel, Jalen Hurts coming back off of injury. Obviously, they signed Mohamed Sanu back, so I don't think it's a position they need. Definitely add someone, I guess. Like maybe next round, not this round. Defensive tackle makes some sense. Corner, go back to the corner. Well, I think corner makes a lot of sense once again. Hey, I still can't believe we traded up for Garrett Wallow. Actually, I'm going to look at the Texans draft real quick. Maybe after the 5th round, I'll kind of take a look at everybody's draft and just kind of break it down a little bit too, like I did at the beginning of the stream, the one that cut off at least. So we got the Texans here. So we got Davis Mills, Nico Collins, Brevin Jordan. So I don't mind Nico Collins and Brevin Jordan. I think they're fine picks. And Garrett Wallow. They traded a lot for that 5th round pick. They traded, I guess in these trades they've done, they traded away 2 6th round picks and the 7th round pick. So we only got 1 pick left. So it'll be interesting to see what they do with that last pick. So we got 3 offensive players, 1 defensive player. Actually, I might go through now. See kind of where every team's at this point too. So they added Marco Wilson. That was fine. Let's see what the Falcons have done. So I don't mind what the Falcons have done so far. You know, added some defensive pieces, added some offensive line pieces. And Kyle Pitts, they could still use a running back. And they got 2 5th round picks left. So the 49ers did go cornerback, and it was Lanier out of Oregon. I kind of heard some hit or miss. You know, he's been kind of hit or miss. He's been hit or miss on review. Some people really like him. Some people don't like him. So an interesting piece nonetheless. Looks like the Packers picks in pretty quick here. We'll see who it is. They could definitely use defensive line like I've been saying. They could go linebacker as well. Marvin Wilson's still out there. That could work for them. Or the USC defensive tackle, Tua Pilato or whatever his name is. I can't pronounce it. I'm sorry. Then, let's see. Ravens have done pretty well, honestly. Because they got 2 wide receivers and Tylan Wallace and Rashad Bateman, 2 very good wide receivers. Jason Owe and Dalen Hayes on edge. Then they got Brandon Stevens and Sean Wayne at corner. And then Ben Cleveland at guard. So that's a pretty solid draft so far. They have 1 pick left in the 5th round. Bills, they took their 2 edge rushers, and then they took 2 project offensive linemen. They do have 3 6th round picks and a 7th round pick left too. So a couple of guys to take some shots on late. Then for the Panthers, like I said, press corners. They got Terrace Marshall at wide receiver. That was a pretty good pick there. Christensen's probably the pick that I like the least on their board, but it's still not a bad pick. Tommy Tremble's fine. Chuba Hubbard's a good backup running back, and if he ever gets into the starting role, could do 5th is pretty good value as well. So the Packers did take a defensive line, and it was Tenderell Slayton out of Florida. Profile's better as a nose tackle than a 3-4 D end, which you probably need more unless you're going to push Kenny Clark out there. So interesting depth piece if nothing else. The Rams are up now, and you know they could look at corner, they could look at edge rush, and they could look at offensive line once again. So you're on the Bears here. They got Justin Fields, they got Tevin Jenkins, and Larry Borum. And I like their draft so far, honestly. And then they have 3 6th-round picks remaining, so definitely can get some depth there if nothing else. So the Bengals got Jamar Chase, Jackson Carman, Joseph Isai, Cam Sample, Tyler Shelvin, Deontay Smith, and Evan McPherson. I don't mind their draft so far. I got some apparently kicker, is kind of a need. I don't agree with it in the 5th round, and then Jamar Chase, obviously. The Browns, like we kind of said, they've had an interesting draft, but they didn't have any clear needs. So Greg Newsome, Owusu or Anthony Schwartz adds a speed element. James Hudson, good developmental offensive lineman. Togiai adds some, depth at that defensive tackle position. Fields adds depth at linebacker, and Richard Leconte adds some depth at safety too, just in case Grant Delpit isn't back to start the season. So it looks like the Rams pick is in. We'll see who it is. Did I miss a pick yet? No, because we already had the Packers taking Slayton out of Florida. Then the Cowboys, they had Micah Parsons. Like I said, it's been an interesting pick. Kelvin Joseph's fine. Odigizzo's fine. Golston was a reach. Right, I'm fine with. Cox was an odd pick since they already had linebacker. And then Ball, he was kind of reach too, and he's got some off-the-field issues. But they should have a pick coming up very soon, then 2 6th-round picks and a 7th-round pick. Then we got Denver Broncos. Patrick Surtain was a fine pick. Javonte Williams, Quinn Miners, Baron Browning, Caden Stearns, and Jamar Johnson. So they got Caden Stearns and Jamar Johnson. I didn't realize that. I do like their draft so far, though. It's pretty solid overall. And maybe they're going 3 safety looks so they can guard Travis Kelce and stuff like that, too, in division. Still waiting on the Rams picks, but the Lions got Penny Sewell's good pick. Levi Oruzarike, Lee McNeil, Melfanu, St. Brown, Derek Barnes. Not a bad draft overall. They still have 1 pick left in the 2nd round. The only concern for me was the double defensive tackles in a row. Probably could have got a better value with one of those picks, but not a bad draft overall. Packers, this draft just like Eric Stokes, kind of a reach. Josh Myers, reach. Amari Rodgers, like he's okay, but like there's a couple other guys I'd rather prefer over him. Royce Newman was a reach. Slayton's kind of a reach here. It's some of its positions they do need, but it's just like reaches all over the board. So I don't know what they're doing in Green Bay. And the Rams selected Ernest Brown out of Northwestern. Probably a slight reach, but, kind of that Michael Brockers type replacement player. So 3-4D end. Could have a little bit of upside, but probably a rotational player more than anything. Then we had the Colts. Kwity Paye was a pretty good pick. Dio was, Kylan Granson, he's an okay pick there. Sean Davis. I don't really like this Colts draft overall outside of Kwity Paye. And they still don't have a left tackle. So really interesting. Then Jacksonville, I feel like I've liked most of their draft. Trevor Lawrence, Travis Etienne, we already kind of talked about most of the people through Andre Sisco earlier. Tufele, I don't mind him here in the 4th round. Jordan Smith was maybe a little bit of a reach, but has some value. Luke Farrell, I didn't think was going to get drafted, honestly, so he in the 6th round, though. So the Jets are on the clock. We'll see who they end up picking. Did they pick edge last time? I feel like they need edge still. Quincy Roche, definitely a good fit there. Chiefs, I kind of like their draft. Nick Bolton's fine. Creed Humphrey, I do like a lot. Joseph Kandoa is a good raw prospect. And then Noah Gray adds a little bit of different dynamic on offense. So not a bad draft by the Chiefs by any means. Then Chargers, we had Rashawn Slater. We talked about most of these guys already, so I'm going to talk about the new ones. Chris Rumpf, I don't feel like that's a bad pick, maybe a little bit early. Just a depth piece more than anything. I don't think he can develop into anything else, so he's probably a reach at that point in time. Then the Rams, obviously, God, some of these Rams picks. Tutu was a reach. Ernest Jones was a slight reach. I don't mind it. Bobby Brown, he's okay. I don't know if it's the best pick or the best use of picks in the 4th round. Robert Rochelle, probably their best pick of the whole draft, honestly. And then Jacob Harris, the reach there based on the pro day. 4th round is just insane for him. And then Ernest Brown. Apparently they have a thing for gun. So here he's a fine pick. I don't think he's bad. Maybe a slight reach though. Then the Raiders. Obviously, we talked about most of the picks. Tyree Gillespie was just. You already picked 2 safeties. Why are you picking him? I do like him, but Hobbs was a little bit early, probably. Super athletic though. They have 1 pick left in this. So the Jets picked Jason Pinnock out of Pittsburgh. If I remember right, he had a terrible pro day, so I wonder why they're picking him. He's a big corner, though. Not anybody I thought would get drafted in the 5th, honestly. Then, looking back, we got the Dolphins, and they've done nothing today. So they got 2 7th-round picks left. Then, obviously, the Vikings have been busy. We already know that. I don't know why they picked him in the 4th round. Pro Day madness. Cameron Bynum, he was fine. I think 4th round was a little early for him. I don't mind it. And it's kind of a position of need anyways. Robinson's fine in the 4th round. Amir Smith-Marset, I think he's okay in the 5th, 6th round. And then Zay Davidson, taking a shot in the 5th round. They got 1 6th-round pick left. So we got Tampa on the clock. I don't even know what they do. They could go defensive line here. They can pretty much just take depth anywhere they want. Tay Gowan wouldn't even be bad right now just because they got their whole team back. And they already won the Super Bowl last year. I guess that's the important part to it, too. If you just bring the same team back and you're not very good last year, it's not going to help you. So they get Patriots. We got Matt Pick, Christian Barmore. So the only pick they've had so far today is Ramondre Stevenson. Very, very interesting pick, at least. I don't know. I don't really like it, honestly. They have a 5th-round pick, 2 6th-round picks, and a 7th-round pick remaining. So KJ Britt goes to the Buccaneers. I think he's more of a depth piece than anything. At linebacker, I'd rather take a chance on like McGrone or Moses at this point, but it is what it is at this point, Then we got the Saints. Obviously, we talked about most of their players already. The only pick they had today was Ian Book. Like I said, a little bit too early for me on Ian Book. Really just Chase Daniel with legs. Let's see. So the Giants, all they picked today was Ellerson Smith, which is a great, great pick, I feel like. Then the Jets, obviously Michael Carter was a good pick at running back. Sherwood at safety is kind of a reach for me. Michael Carter, the defensive back, was a little bit early for me as well. And then Pinnock, at least they're addressing defensive back, but I don't know. Like, he ain't even rated on ESPN. I'm pretty sure he tanked his pro day, so I don't know how he went in the 5th round, honestly. So now here is Cameron McGrone to the Patriots. I think that's a good pick. I think that's a typical Patriots pick. And if you look at the Patriots, they have a pretty good connection with Michigan too. So Then for the Eagles, today you got Zeke McPherson, who I do like. I think it was a little bit early for him. And then Kenneth Gainwell was a pretty good pick where they did take him. Packers are on the clock, so obviously you should be looking at linebacker probably. Probably another defensive lineman if you want. You could go safety as well. I feel like there's decent value at safety left still too. So Steelers went Dan Moore and Buddy Johnson both out of Texas A&M, and then they trade up for Isaiah Laudermilk. I think all three of these picks are reaches, so I can't say anything too good about them today. Weird draft for the Steelers overall. Seahawks, they got Trey Brown with Eskridge, but he's just a weird pick for the Seahawks. I didn't expect him to go there, honestly. Probably a little bit early for him too, honestly. I could be wrong, but not a bad pick by any means, though. 49ers. See what we got from him today. So it was Jalen Moore out of Western Michigan, fine developmental offensive lineman. And then Lanier out of Oregon. I think he could be okay as a developmental corner too. So the Packers took Shamar Jean-Charles out of Appalachian State, kind of a nickel corner. Maybe that's their Chandon Sullivan replacement. Probably a little bit of reach. Probably should have went in like round 6 or 7, but can't really fault them on that one. That might have been one of the better picks of the draft, honestly. Tampa, we got Jalen Darden today. Interesting pick with all the wide receivers that they already do have, but I know a lot of people are super high on him. Then KJ Brett, who was just picked a little bit ago. Then we got the Titans. Let's see what they had today. So it was Des Fitzpatrick. Felt like a little bit of reach for me. Then they had Rashad Weaver, who I love, and I think that was an awesome, awesome pick. They got 2 picks left in the 6th round. See what the Cowboys do this time. Gotta go offensive line now. Trey Smith is still out there. It's almost around 6. Like, even if there's something wrong with him, just take the chance. Then for Washington, they had John Bates and Derek Forrest today. I feel like both players are fine. Might have been slight reaches on each of them, though. So we got Simi Fehoko going to the Cowboys. Probably not the best landing spot for him, but, you know, it could be worse. Definitely could be worse. We'll see if Mike on the team after the next season, you know, so definitely could be some opportunities open up for him, but not major draft capital like some people were thinking with him. I'm not a big Simi Fehoko guy myself. Just on tape, he doesn't flash that much. I know he had the good pro day, but you just don't see that much on tape. So let's try. So 49ers, I'm trying to think. They kind of have a lot of flexibility with this pick right now. So they could go with a project safety maybe. They can go with I don't think they need a linebacker, but they could go with one. There's definitely value there. And then they could definitely go defensive line. Defensive line would make some sense too. Marvin Wilson feels like good value here though. Let's see how many picks are left in this round. So there's picks left total. This round, we got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 picks. And the Falcons picked twice in a row. So this is where it gets to be the interesting nitty-gritty. A lot of these teams filled most of their needs kind of already, so it's kind of hard to guess which players are going where now. Let's see what we got. So they took the USC safety. ESPN has them lower on their board. I think this is a fine pick here. He's kind of like one of the, I don't even know how to say it, but he almost plays like a hybrid, kind of like a box safety, but his pro day was actually a little bit better than I think most people thought it was going to be, so I don't mind that pick by any means. Chiefs have a lot of flexibility here. They could go pretty much grab any developmental player they want at this point. I think they didn't go wide receiver last time, right? I don't think they went wide receiver. So they could definitely go wide receiver. Somebody's going to freak out because this is going to be like the Tamorian Terrier or whatever one now. Stretch. Wide receiver, and it's Cornell Powell out of Clemson. So if you guys are playing fantasy with your rookie drafts, Cornell Powell's value might have just went up. Even though, you look at it and the Kansas City wide receiver 2 hasn't traditionally be enough to drive his value up just a little bit. Not the biggest Cornell Powell guy myself. I think he's fine, but whether or not he becomes a wide receiver 2 for Kansas City could be a different story. So the Falcons, they could go back to edge rusher here. They could go to offensive line. They could go safety. I think they still need another safety. They could definitely go cornerback. They can pretty much go anywhere they want. They still need running back even. And they got back-to-back picks, too. So they could get a developmental quarterback. I know they just signed A.J. McCarron, but if there's a developmental quarterback they really like, I feel like they could pick one here. So they went with the other Notre Dame defensive end. Not too big on this guy, honestly, so we'll see how he pans out in his career, though. God, Quincy Roche's still out there. And they got the timer countdown on this pick, too. You'd think they have it right in since they went back-to-back. Unless they're trying to trade this pick. I could see that. Let's see who they pick. Could it be safety, corner, or running back? Or quarterback? Offensive line? They could pretty much pick anything, honestly. Because it's the Falcons. And then it looks like the Baltimore Ravens after this Falcons pick. Avery Williams out of Boise State. Interesting pick. Probably not somebody I thought. Probably go to the last round. So, interesting. We'll see how he pans out, though. Trying to think of who else they got. So they got Hall. So he might play nickel. He might play the nickel. I wonder if the Ravens finally take an offensive lineman here. Besides Ben Cleveland, obviously. See what we got. God, Drake Jackson's going to make it all the way to the 6th round. That's kind of crazy. And Trey Smith does too. Ben Mason. That's your typical Ravens pick there. I do like Ben Mason, though, even though he's a fullback. Fullback's in the 5th round. Interesting, but, this guy could be the next Kyle Juszczyk, so could be worth it. So we're up to round 6 now. So we got the Chargers. Seems like they haven't picked in a while. I'm going to go grab some more water, though. Let's see what we got. So, Chargers just timed out. I missed all the excitement. Up picks in Marvin Wilson. That makes some sense. Let's see. Slow rolling the first pick of the 6th round. That a boy. Let me see what we got, though. They could bulk up offensive line too. God, Trey Smith be good off the edge. They could go another cornerback. They could go safety in theory. Defense tackle works. They could go running back too. I forgot about that. So the new coaching staff likes Josh Kelly. But who is it? Who? If I was the Chargers, who would I pick? Probably Marvin Wilson. Tay Gowlin's interesting, but I don't think he fits their scheme, honestly. Roche is really interesting, though, here. God, how's he not been picked? I don't know how he's not been picked. Come on. Where are the Jets take next? So this is Nick Neiman out of Iowa. So this is a guy that had another crazy good pro day. Interesting pick. I wonder if he just plays inside linebacker or if they try to use him off the edge a little bit too. I believe they're going to use a 3-4 this year at least. So interesting pick. Guy that really, really helped his stock out at his pro day, obviously. Come on, Quincy Roche to the Jets. That's about the only need they have left. Well, quote-unquote need on paper at least. What? So they took Nezardine out of Florida State, but they just took Sherwood, who are both kind of probably better linebackers than safeties. That's a weird pick. I don't like that pick. I mean, it's a decent value, so why would you take him now? Why don't you just... I don't know. So we'll see what the Falcons do here. Will they finally take the running back? Apparently they love Mike Davis. That's all I got to say. Let's see what running backs are here. I feel like it's all the same guys that were just there last time I looked, though. So it's Felton, Jamar Jefferson, Chris Evans, Larry Roundtree, Jarrett Patterson, Elijah Mitchell, Khalil Herbert, Kylan Hill, Trey Ragas. Yeah, everybody pretty much. Do they finally take a running back? Does it matter if they actually take a running back? I wonder if it didn't take a second tight end at the end here. Not like this pick though. Let's see. Running back? Frank Darby. Interesting. Is that your Julio replacement right there? God, I hope not. Just not a big fan of Frank Darby, but he could play a role, I guess. Not going to invest anything in it. Well, 6th round. Probably about where he should go, though. So, Some people like him, though. I just don't see it there. So the Patriots, apparently their needs are cornerback and wide receiver. I could see them going offensive line here. I don't think the Patriots have gone offensive line at all this year. Then we again. Where else could the Patriots go? I guess if they really liked a wide receiver, they could go there. Some people would probably say Shi Smith, but slot only guy. Kind of got some other guys that play the slot already. I don't really see that. Offensive line makes sense. Defensive line makes sense. They already took linebacker. They could take another safety in theory. I don't know if they'd do it, though. Cornerback's always an option. I guess, God, they could take Allen. Nobody else is going to do it. Why not the Patriots? Just to piss everybody off, you know. But let's see. And of course, this was the pick that we had to trade them from Houston. Win the Texans pick again. Just give me that. So we pick here, 195. Hopefully you get somebody good at 195. Quincy Roche, somebody running. I don't even know if I want to run back. Good wide receiver. I don't care as long as it's somebody that can do something. Take already. Because, you know, Patriots. Oh, yeah, lagging again. So, are they gonna make this Patriots pick today or tomorrow? So let's see. Oh. Oh. We're losing it. Let's see what we got, though. Is the Patriots pick coming in? Okay, so the Patriots pick Joshua Bledsoe out of Missouri. And that is a safety pick, like I said, it could be. He's an interesting guy. I think he had COVID during his pro day, so he didn't have official times listed there. But in the 6th round, you could probably do a lot worse than him. I know some people like him quite a bit. The Eagles are still looking at linebacker, I think. God, could you get Dylan Moses in the 6th round? I mean, if he's there, you got to do it, right? Or is his injury concerns that bad? Is it? He's about the only one, though. Unless you're taking a shot on Hilliard. But I don't know. Take that. They already got corner. They fit most of their needs. I guess they could go safety too. That's safety. So I guess at safety they could go homegrown boy, DeMar. I guess you could go Darius Washington. A lot of people are kind of concerned about his weight. Nobody that's been as small as him has ever gotten drafted. Coyle's fine. Upoff is fine. Not many guys that are going to develop into a decent starter, though. DeMar Hamlin's probably the best one left. Oh, so they took defensive tackle. So they took Tua Piloto out of USC. That's not a bad pick by any means. Definitely gives them more depth on the defensive line. Probably a pretty good steal at this point in the NFL draft, obviously. Ooh, but they could try offensive line. They could try pretty much anything they want at this point, honestly. I do not know. We're kind of getting down to the nitty gritty here in the 6th, 7th round, where it's just like teams are going to pick their guy, no matter who their guy is. We'll look at the overall of their board at least. So, Tay Allen, Shi Smith, Shakar Brown, Cade Johnson's kind of a little bit of a surprise that he's there, probably still. Marvin Wilson, Trey Smith, same thing. Dylan Moses. DeMar Hamlin should probably go pretty soon. Some of these other guys, it's just kind of like they're all in a big lump. So teams are going to pick the ones that they really like, or I guess like better. If they really liked them, they probably would have picked them already. But who will the Bengals pick? Trey Hill out of Georgia. Probably not a guy that's going to play right away over Hopkins, but he's a guy that can play center and guard. Kind of athletic, has a little bit of injury concerns. Makes a lot of sense here, honestly, in the 6th round. Kind of minimizing your risk, but has some good potential upside as well. So I like what the Bengals have kind of done with that offensive line in this draft. You got Carmen for this year, and the future years, you got Deontay Smith and Hill that are probably going to not start this year, but then down the road, they're going to be contributors as well. So we're back to the Eagles, kind of what we already talked about, linebacker, safety. We could look there. I guess that makes sense why they took defensive tackle, since there's only 2 picks in between there. The Eagles were going to pick either of the guys they wanted, I guess. So they went with Teron Jackson. So they're really trying to beef up that defensive line with him, Tua Piloto, and Milton Williams, Guys, in a sense, Jackson, this is probably about where he should go, honestly, though. But he's an interesting piece. Might develop into something, might not, honestly. But at this point, it's kind of worth taking that little gamble. So we're back to the Cowboys. They didn't take safety yet. They still didn't take safety yet. Oh, boy. Cowboys. I guess they must really want Jabril Cox to play safety. I don't get it, but we'll see. And they took Simi Fehoko the last pick. So they don't need any wide receivers. They could go offensive line, makes some sense. They did take Josh Ball earlier, but I ain't crazy about that pick. So it'll be real interesting to see what they do here. Maybe they could take a developmental quarterback too. I know they took Ben DiNucci last year, but I guess Ben DiNucci. In now. And so we got Panthers, 49ers, and then we're back to the Texans. So hopefully we get a good pick out of the Texans. And this is why you could get Felipe Franks at the 6'11". Sorry, got a rant, Texans fan. But, yeah. Now that I said that, though, the Panthers probably take Felipe Franks off on me. But, yeah, it'll be real. Just wish the Texans had more picks in this draft. Well, they kind of did, but then they traded them away. So I think this is their last pick. Let's see. So the Cowboys took Quinton Bohanna out of Kentucky. Kind of just a big run-stuffing defensive tackle there. So now they have him. They took Osai Odighizola earlier, and they have Neville Gallimore as well. I'm not sure if they're playing a 3-4 defense or not, but if they are, it kind of makes sense. They play Gallimore and Odighizola as like the 3-4 D ends. Then their draft would probably make a lot more sense, but until I know that information, their draft is kind of all over the place. So now we got the Panthers coming up, and they still have some of their little hole needs. I think Trey Smith, what the heck happened to him? I got to look this up now, figure out why he's fallen, because this is kind of crazy. And you guys are probably sick of me saying Trey Smith. I'm trying to figure this out still. Apparently, he put out an article, there was an article about him yesterday, though, saying Tennessee's Trey Smith vows to never forget plummeting in the NFL draft. So this was from yesterday, and he's fallen even further since then. So this is Deontay Brown to the Carolina Panthers. Here, it does fill a need, a depth piece at the very least. Guy that you're kind of concerned about his weight, whether he's going to stay in shape for the long term of his career. Kind of has some physical limitations. Makes sense that he gets picked in this range. Oh, so that's what it is. It's that he had the blood clot issue for Trey Smith. So I guess teams are trying to be overly concerned about that. So his blood clots in his lung, it says. But it says he's never missed a game in the last 2 years either. So be interesting to see. So 49ers take Elijah Mitchell now. They just took Trey Sermon. What the heck? What are the 49ers doing? Oh my God. What the heck? So they're going to have Wayne Gallman, Jeff Wilson Jr. will not be active on game day. Guarantee that one. So if I'm the Texans, who am I taking here? God, do you just take out now? I got to figure out what's wrong with him, too, because he's falling like crazy. Marvin Wilson, I know, has kind of character issues why he's been falling, but... At some point, some of these guys, they just kind of... You're in the 6th round, you got to take talent where talent is, you know? Apparently, Tay Gowan tweeted out, "What did I do wrong?" It's kind of funny, but it's just like, at the same time, if you're a player, like, it sucks if you're a player, but at the same time, you just gotta go out and prove everybody wrong. Can't pay too much attention to it either. So let's see who the Texans are going to take here, though. Oh, wow. Roy Lopez out of Arizona. It's kind of a reach, but at least it's a defensive line, I guess. Well, hopefully he works out. Hopefully he plays a decent amount this year because we're probably going to need him. I mean, he didn't have a terrible pro day by any means. He's just not, you know, you got guys like Marvin Wilson and people like that out there still, so... for the Giants, let's see. They still need offensive linemen. So we'll see what they do here. They went double edge. Yeah, they went double edge corner and Tony so far. So offensive lineman it is. So, on the bright side, we got 60 picks left. On the downside, we got 60 picks left. But, yeah. Maybe the Giants take a shot on Trey Smith just because they've been kind of taking some shots on guys here, but they've been getting good value. Let's see. They could go Drake Jackson too, though. That'd be good value. So let's see. Patriots are up next. I bet they take Trey Smith just because it's the Patriots. You know, they'll be like, okay. Gary Brightwell out of Arizona, really? After you already signed Booker. Like, I don't like that pick. I don't think he's that good, and I think it's a little bit of reach. I think there's better options out there, and I don't think it's a position of need. Just address your offensive line, please. So now the Patriots, they could be like, we're going to take Tay Gowan. We're going to take pretty much anybody they want, honestly. Trey Smith would be killer pick here too as well. I think the Patriots are about to gobble up some value. But who is it going to be? They take another quarterback. Mac Jones, meet your competition. Don't think that's going to happen, by the way. But so we got Chargers, then Vikings, then Jets again after this. Then that puts us at pick 200. So we got 55 left after that. I believe the Texans are done, so my favorite team's done. So we got William Sherman out of Colorado for the Patriots. I don't hate the pick. I think played some offensive tackle in college, could play some guard in the pros. This could be kind of like the Michael Onwenu pick out of Michigan last year. Not the best pick in the world. It's fair 6th round value at this point in time. Maybe they saw something they liked out of him a little bit more, and they can work with that. Definitely not the worst offensive tackle available, let's put it that way. So let's see. Supposedly still have that hole at defensive tackle. Marvin Wilson's still on the board, probably by far the best one left, but we'll see what ends up happening here. So picks in pretty quick once again. And then we're going over to the Vikings, who pretty much don't have any need, so they can just take best player available. And then let's see who we got, though. For the Chargers. God, there's still a lot of wide receivers out there too. I'm wondering get drafted. And there's some guys I really, really like that are still available too. Let's see what we got here. So we had a question to who the top of... Okay, so we got Larry Roundtree to the Chargers. That's an interesting one there. I don't hate that pick by any means. Be interesting to see what that means for Josh Kelly. So the answer to this question, I'm typing up and I'm talking in at the same time too. So Philly asked who my best players available in the draft still were. Trey Smith's out there, definitely a good player, very good player still at guard. And he's got that blood clot issue in his lungs that's been a problem before. Quincy Roche, edge rusher, I think he's very underrated. And then, I mean, obviously you see Tay Gowans here. He probably should be gone by now. Let me go through each position too. Just make sure I ain't missing anybody off the top of my head. So at quarterback, obviously Jamie Newman's out there. I'm not a big Jamie Newman fan myself. I would rather go with the Felipe Franks. I think he's probably a better developmental quarterback, and he's shown progress in the past. After him, I like KJ Costello if you can get him back to 2018 KJ Costello. Shane Buechele could be an okay backup quarterback. Same thing with Sam Ehlinger. Zach Smith, not really too excited about him overall. Then running back, Demetric Felton's interesting, but I think he'll probably go at the end of this round, early round 7. Jamar Jefferson's okay. Chris Evans I do like quite a bit. Jared Patterson I like, but he's kind of a niche role for the NFL. Just a small 2-down running back essentially. Kylan Hill I do like, and Khalil Herbert I really do like as well. I like Puka Williams Jr., but I think he'll go in the 7th round. Stevie Scott I do like as well. Probably goes in the 6th, 7th round. Most of the other running backs not too high on there. For wide receivers, going through real quick. I know Austin Watkins I do like a lot. Marlon Williams out of UCF I do like a lot as well. Cade Johnson's, I'm pretty fair on him as well. Marquez Stevenson I do like. Let's see. Rico Bussey Jr. I do have as one of my sleeper picks in this year's draft. Austin Watkins already talked about him as a slot guy and punt returner. I think he should be drafted at least. There's just a lot of wide receivers that do the same thing this year, so a lot of slot guys and a lot of big guys. So we're waiting to see what the Vikings do as well while I'm talking. Tim Jones had a really good pro day. He looked okay on film, so I wouldn't be surprised if he gets drafted. Emer Bebe, or however you say his last name, out of Illinois. Great pro day. Not a lot of production in college, though. Jonathan Adams had a crazy year this year at Arkansas State, so he probably should be drafted. I drafted him just to throw jump balls to him in the end zone. On tight ends, I really do like Quentin Morris that's left over. I think Kenny Yeboah gets drafted. Billy Moore, I think, should get drafted as well. Some of these other guys, I'm not sure if they get drafted or not. So Vikings picked Jalen Twyman out of Pittsburgh. I believe he was another opt-out, put up a bunch of bench press reps, but didn't do anything else at his pro day. Like, he was in, like, the bottom percentage of, defensive tackles at his pro day. Fullback, there ain't nobody else left. Well, I guess it's Torrey Carter, but I don't think he gets drafted. Let's see where we're at. Offensive tackle, but I don't like him. I don't think he should get drafted. I think Landon Young gets drafted. I think Forsythe gets drafted. Most of the other guys, they're just kind of hit or miss if they get drafted or not. Obviously, I said I like Trey Smith. He's one of the top guys available right now. I think this Buffalo offensive lineman, I don't know how to pronounce his name off the top of my head. I think he definitely has a chance to get drafted. Robert Jones, David Moore, I think, get drafted. And then Sedarius Hutcherson, I do like as well. I think he does get drafted. Some of the other guys, they're just really hit or miss if they get drafted at all. Drake Jackson at center, I do like a lot. Very good college career. I think he's definitely should be drafted. Drafted, he might not get drafted, honestly. It's kind of a raw project, but I don't think he has quite as much upside as some of these other guys. Bradley King, I do like. He'd probably get drafted 6th, 7th round here. Quincy Roche, I think he should be drafted anytime. Really like him. Wyatt Hubbard, I think he gets drafted in the 7th round. Jonathan Cooper should get drafted 6th, 7th round. Most of the rest of these guys, I don't have too strong conviction that they do get drafted overall. Then Marvin Wilson, I think he's going to get drafted at some point here. He's just too big, too strong not to get drafted. But, there's a little bit of character concerns and stuff like that with him, but nothing like major. So I'm kind of surprised he's still out there, and some of these other defensive tackles have been going over him. The other guys, they're really hit or miss if they get drafted. I think Stills out of West Virginia probably gets drafted. Most of these other guys, they probably will get drafted, but it's kind of hit or miss, though, honestly. Inside linebacker, I believe Dylan Moses is still out there, so he is definitely one of the top players available, but kind of concerns with, his knee injuries in the past. Justin Hilliard, a lot of talent, a lot of injuries, though. Patty Fisher, tough Borland, don't worry about them. Isaiah McDuffie, I think he gets drafted. Hines could get drafted, and the rest of these guys probably not. Outside linebacker, I don't think there's going to get drafted according, from their list. Hamilcar will is going to be as a 3-4 team. Snowden and Patrick Johnson, there's a good chance they get drafted. The other three, probably not. Then, obviously, Tay Gowan at corner should get drafted. I think DJ Daniel gets drafted. I think Mills has a good chance of getting drafted. Kerry Vincent will either get drafted as a nickel corner or a free safety. Darius Williams, he's kind of a wild card. I think he should get drafted, but he's already like 25 years old. Thomas Graham probably gets drafted. Elijah Griffin probably also gets drafted. Gilbert is a super athletic, super freaky, but two career, he's had 2 season-ending injuries, so that's big concerns for him. Then, like, safety, I can't even remember who's left at safety right now. So DeMar Hamlin, definitely, he should be one of the top available on the board. By far the best safety available. Trill Williams, he'll get drafted. He's either a safety or a slot corner. Ardarius Washington, he could get drafted, but he's just tiny. Paris Ford, probably undraftable now after his pro days. I think Jacoby Stevens, I think he gets drafted. Let's see. Mark Webb could be drafted just based on athleticism alone. Coyle, I think, has a shot at getting drafted in the 7th round. Wiggins probably goes undrafted. Upaw goes probably in the 7th round. Norwood could go in the 7th round. Most of these other guys are just undrafted. But that's kind of my thoughts on like who's left. So Jets went Brandon Eccles here. I don't like this pick that much, really. I think it's not really a reach, but it's just not. I don't see that much upside in it either. Pitt as well, so kind of like 2 corners that I don't see too much upside in. So that's kind of the problem with that, if that makes sense. Like, essentially, you're here in the 6th round, so you're trying to hit on guys that have a lot of upside. Oh, there goes Darius Williams. So, yeah, he's got the upside, really good corner, but, like, how much upside does he have left because he's already, like, 25? I think I mentioned earlier, he's Greedy Williams' older brother, actually, who Greedy Williams has been in the NFL like 3 years now. So, very interesting story there. Yeah, let's see. We got the Bengals on the clock here. They could take tight end. God, that'd be kind of cool if they took Quentin Morris here. I like Quentin Morris. I think with Joe Burrow, God, they would open up this offense so much. Or if you're the Bengals, you just hammer the offensive line one more time. God. I feel like if you're the Bengals at this point, just take Trey Smith. Like, if he doesn't work out, it's a 6th round pick, and you already have a poor offense, or you already had a poor offensive line going into it. But we'll see. We'll see what they do. They could go corner, too. They wouldn't be a bad take-out team either. What the heck happened? Like, what happened to him? That there's got to be something about this kid that he's fallen this far. Anything either. Let's see. The Panthers go next. The Panthers could take them too. They've been taking kind of those taller corners, or bigger corners at least. But let's see who it is. Then we got the Bills after this. I think I said this is the last Bills pick. They should take him too. They could take Trey Smith either. So Chris Evans out of Michigan. So this is interesting. Obviously, Joe Bernard's gone now. They don't have a pass catching back. Look really good for Joe Mixon getting that extra pass catching work. And now you got Chris Evans, a pass catching back coming in. How much will he actually eat into that work? But he's a guy, and he's had really good pro day as well. So definitely not a bad pick, especially in the 6th round. I consider that good value. So the Bills, I wonder if the Bills would have took him. But yeah, the Bills, they could go corner, they could go defensive tackle, running back, offensive line. They could even go like the worst thing in the world here either. They could go safety too if they had a developmental safety to play behind Micah Hyde and Jordan Poyer. Since those guys aren't the youngest anymore, at least. Let's see. Panthers come up next. Then the Titans. God, if Trey Smith doesn't go before the Titans and they don't, like, this thing's got to be a lot worse than people are putting on. You're in the 6th round. Just take a chance. Where could Quincy Roche go? He could go really addressed edge rush. That'd be a good pick in the 6th round. Marvin Wilson actually wouldn't be a bad pick to the Bills here either. Now that I see that best fit there. We'll see what it is. And they're letting the time run down, so are they going to trade the pick or is it coming in? So we're still waiting on this Buffalo Bills pick. This pick get traded because it's taking forever to come in. I feel like it got traded. We are going to refresh this page because it's being slow. Let's see. Still says the pick is in for the Buffalo Bills. We'll see if it comes through. So let's see what we got here. So we finally got some running backs coming off the board though. But we ain't gonna have one. Okay, so Marquez Stevenson out of Houston to the Bills. I like Speedy Stevenson. I don't know if I like the fit for the Bills because where's he going to play? I don't think he's going to play right away at least. This could be a good stash in Dynasty maybe. Maybe he can be a speedy slot guy once they move on from Cole Beasley. And after this year when Emmanuel Sanders is gone, maybe he has some value then, but we'll just have to see. At the very least, he could be their punt returner. Unless they use Isaiah McKenzie in that role. But he's pretty good at punt returning at least. So that's a good way to get on the field at least. But so now we got the Panthers. They could look at a couple of different things. Offensive line, defensive line. That'd be fun. Gross Matos, his former teammate. Oh, so they went with Shi Smith. So interesting slot wide receiver. Wonder how soon. Decent little Curtis Samuel replacement. But they just drafted Terrace Marshall. They signed David Moore. So I don't think he's going to play on the field sooner rather than later at least. So that could be a future stash for next year maybe. After David Moore and Robbie Anderson are gone. But I don't think he has the draft capital to make it so you have to go out and get him either. So the Titans are up. I feel like they should. Well, they need tight end. Quentin Morris, please. Please. Wait, so you want Delaney Walker Jr. going to the team Delaney Walker played for? That sounds like a match made in heaven. So it's probably not going to happen, but we can dream. Let's see who's up after the Titans. So we got the Titans and then the Colts. Such a weird draft. I don't know what to think of it, honestly. Then we got the Jets, Bears, Jaguars. Cardinals finally pick again. The Cardinals, at least, that is. So, let's see. Who are the Titans picking? Tight end, please. Quentin Morris. Quentin Morris. So we are about halfway through the 6th round, and then we still have the 7th round. There's about 43, 44 picks in this round. Yeah, 44 picks. And then is there only 27 in the last round? Or is there more picks this year? Let me look real quick. I thought we were almost done. Okay, so there's 259 picks this year. Usually it's about 255. What just happened there, but okay. Okay, so the Titans pick went through. Who was it? It's broke. Okay. This. Oh. Okay. So wide receiver, tight end is what it should be. Racy McMahon out of LSU. Oh boy. Oh boy. I don't think Racy McMahon should have been drafted, but he ran faster than I thought he ever would at his pro day. He was a tight end converted to wide receiver, so I guess he offers some speed element, vertical threat, but not somebody I'm excited about at all. I'm super surprised he actually got drafted. Super. So now we're back to the Saints, and they still need a wide receiver. So this is Landon Young to the Saints. I don't mind Landon Young, but they still don't have a wide receiver, so I guess they're just okay with chilling with who they already have. I guess Landon Young maybe a slight reach, but probably a 7th round pick, but 6th round and a 6th round. I'm not going to middle of the 6th round, whatever the heck it is now. I'm not too upset about that one. Oh, so they actually traded up for him. That was the Colts pick. So now we're at the Jets. They picked Dalen. Did they pick Dalen Hayes? I don't know. Give him Quincy Roche. Let me see why Quincy Roche is dropping. Because so we are looking at Roche. Why the heck is Quincy Roche dropping? Yeah. So the Jets picks in. Still trying to read why Quincy Roche has been dropping. What? That's a weird article. I cannot. I do not know. No information on why Quincy Roche is falling. Bears could take him. Jets could take him. Jacksonville could take like the next 4 teams could take him as an outside edge rusher, essentially. So Jonathan Marshall to the Jets. Kind of interesting pick. Probably a rotational defensive lineman more than anything, though. So the Bears, the Bears should take cornerback. Take Owens. Bears got to take corner, right? I think. Guard, corner. God, you got like 2 of the best players available, and you're probably not going to take them. Let's see, though. They have some options for sure. Could go corner, could go safety, could go linebacker, edge rusher, wide receiver, offensive line. That's about it. But that's quite a bit of options, honestly. And they haven't had a lot of picks, but every pick the Bears have made so far has been a good pick. So don't let me down now, Ryan Pace. They're taking their time with this pick too, so I wonder if it's a trade. Could be a trade. So let's see. So the Bears ended up trading the pick to the Seahawks, so it was originally the Seahawks pick. Stone Forsythe out of Florida. I don't mind that pick. They definitely need offensive line help. Developmental guy that you hope pans out. Big, tall guy, obviously, but yeah, it's not a bad pick. Especially with Dwayne Brown not getting any older. Stars. I guess they could take wide receiver. They could take linebacker. I guess they could take offensive line again too. That makes some sense. Then we got the Cardinals. Jacksonville take another running back. I was going to say, who'd they take a tight end again? Luke Farrell, Ohio State kid. Urban Meyer pick. Sorry, people. My brain's all... So, let's see who we got. So, the pick's in. This could be Quincy Roche, too. I wouldn't be mad if they had another edge rusher. Because what they had, Jordan Smith earlier. That's about it. Arizona, then Cleveland, then Buffalo for 2. So Jalen Camp If you guys are not familiar with Jalen Camp, he had a crazy good pro day. Played at Virginia Tech, which, if you guys already don't know, Virginia Tech is like the most run-heavy team in all of college football. So if you look at his production, didn't have too much production there. But, a really big, fast wide receiver could develop into something. That's kind of the type of player that you're trying to pick here, in the 6th round, though. So I think that's a pretty solid pick overall for the Jacksonville Jaguars. And they don't need him to do anything like year one at all. With the guys they already have ahead of him, Marvin Jones, DJ Chark, Laviska Shenault, Colin Johnson even. So the Cardinals here, they could go tight end, they could go edge rusher, they could go running back. Running back would be interesting. Who the best running backs left? I'm trying to remember which ones got picked. So, running back, Jamar Jefferson, Jared Patterson. This wouldn't be an awful spot for Jamar Jefferson. Kylan Hill would be interesting too. Khalil Herbert. I wonder if Jared Patterson actually gets drafted. Just because he's so small, and such a unique skill set. He's only a 2-down small running back. That's a hard one. Let's see who it is. Trey Hill wouldn't be bad here either. They could go corner too, whether it's takeout or someone else. Got a lot of needs, honestly. So who will they take? Will it be the running back? Will it be lineman or the tight end? Quentin Morris be interesting here too. He plays some in the slot at Bowling Green. I'm trying to think. Billy Moore could do it too. Play inline, play out of line. Who else? Yeah, we're really getting into pick your guy territory though. Landon Young, Jonathan Marshall, Stone Forsythe, Jalen Camp. God, there's been so many guys that got drafted just based off a good pro day this year. It's crazy because normally you don't have quite that much, but this year. So it looks like they went with Victor Dime-Jiki. If that's how you pronounce his name. He's from Duke. The other, edge rusher as well out of Duke. Interesting pick. I think he tested okay at his pro day, but maybe you hit some upside there. Otherwise, it's probably just a depth piece overall. Be interesting to see what the Browns do here. Obviously, like I've been saying, they have pretty much everything filled, so they just can take whatever. I wonder who they pick here, honestly. 'Cause we got this, then we got 2 Buffalo picks. Then Demetric Felton. That's an interesting pick. So you got the running back, wide receiver hybrid. Not quite sure how they plan on using him. That'd be real interesting to see. It's a little bit more. I think he has a little bit of value just because he got drafted in the 6th round instead of the 7th round. I think if he's in the 7th round, kind of dead in the water, but we'll see what happens with him. So let's see. The Bills still haven't addressed cornerback or defensive tackle. So those are 2 major areas. Offensive line, definitely. They can kind of just take best player available, honestly. Let's see what we got now. Come on, Bills. Where did they trade? Nope. Maybe not. Just got to talk about them trading, then it's like picks in. So let's see who we got. Hopefully these picks are backed up for both. See, yeah. There's still a lot of wide receivers out there, honestly. But they just drafted Marquise Stevenson, so they definitely don't need wide receivers. They could go running back, corner, defensive tackle, offensive line. Oh, there's DeMar Hamlin. I said that with their last pick that they could go kind of a safety to have between or behind Jordan Poyer and Micah Hyde, since they're both kind of getting up there in age. So I think that's a pretty good pick. You know, best safety on the board. One of the best players still left out on the board overall. So good job, Brandon Bean and company. So hopefully this pick comes in pretty quick as well, since they are back-to-back like I already said. Then we got the Packers, Chiefs, or Packers, Titans, Steelers, Bears, and the Colts. I think after the Packers pick, I'm going to grab some more water to drink. But if you guys have... Yeah. Be sure to let me know if you guys have any questions or any thoughts about any of these picks going on. Be sure to let me know as well. I know this part's kind of boring, but if you're here taking the time out of your day to be here, some of these guys, it's not like the earlier rounds where you can kind of talk on and on either. It's just like, well, this is the guy they liked. Just a little bit of input here and there on each one. Hopefully we get some of these guys that kind of fell down and can talk about them a little bit more, why I think they fell and stuff like that. But based on everything I see right now, there is probably going to be some good UDFAs as well. It seems like teams are really valuing some of like the offensive tackle positions and stuff like that over skill position players. At least should have a pretty good group of undrafted free agents as well. But let's see who the pick is here for the Buffalo Bills. Hopefully it comes in pretty quick, and then we can do the Packers and then take a break. So let's see who we got this time. Will it be Marvin Wilson? Will he keep falling? Find out soon. Let's see what we got here. I wonder if there's any news about why he's been falling. Besides, I believe it's just all the character issues. Let's see what we got here. So there's no real news about him or about him falling or anything like that. So I just assume it's a little bit of the character issues that he's kind of had. God, this one's taking forever. Come in. So this one is Rashad Wildgoose, corner out of Wisconsin. Kind of played a little bit all over the place, so a versatile weapon there. Probably best suited to play in the slot. Probably more of a developmental prospect than anything at this point in time, though. So now we have the Packers on the clock. They're looking at linebacker, defensive lineman probably once again. Maybe offensive lineman, but they already did grab a couple in this draft as well. Could be safety too to replace Adrian Amos. So they picked Cole Van Lannon, who is a Wisconsin offensive lineman, played tackle at Wisconsin, I do believe. They have him listed as guard here, so a little bit of versatility at lineman. Not a bad pick, though. Kind of better than some of the other picks the Packers have made so far in this draft. So they're slowly getting a little bit better, but sometimes it's hard to mess up these later picks as well. So the Titans are on the clock now. Definitely looking at tight end here. Could be some other options as well, but I'm going to take my short little break here and take some time, go to the bathroom, grab some water and stuff like that. So just stick around and I'll be back hopefully by the time this pick's in. So let's see what we got. So the Titans are still on the clock. Didn't miss too much. So they took Brady Breeze, safety out of Oregon. Just a developmental safety is all that is. So apparently they're not valued. Apparently they're comfortable with what they already have with Anthony Ferkser, McCole Pruitt, and Jeff Swaim. I think all three of them came back this year. Not really looking for a Jonnu Smith replacement, apparently. So this Steelers pick came in pretty quick, so apparently they knew who they wanted. So that's good. That's what I like. And then we'll have the Bears pick after that. So where are the Steelers going right here? They could go Trey Smith at offensive guard. They could go one of these developmental quarterbacks. They could go cornerback. Cornerback would be a good position too. I don't think they have addressed that yet. They could go Quincy Roche as an edge rusher. Not the biggest need though. I think they've had a kind of interesting draft. I'm not the biggest fan of the Steelers draft. Overall, though, it's just it's kind of there. They kind of reach on some guys as well. I mean, Najee and Freiermuth were fine, but some of these other picks. I like Kendrick Green, though. That was a very good pick. At the interior offensive line position, at least. But we'll just have to see what they do here, honestly. Bears will be real interesting to see what they do. I think they still need to get cornerback. I don't remember what they did with the last pick. I think they traded it. Maybe. Yeah, I think they traded it. So, Ryan Paces, there's Quincy Roche towards the end of the 6th round. So I think this is a very, very, very good pick for the Steelers overall. Obviously, you see that. They had him at 173, went for 217, so quite a bit of value there. A guy that I think can provide some spark on defense, though, definitely for sure. Whether him and Alex Highsmith are kind of rotating, definitely could be a good player. So like I said, I think the Bears have to go cornerback here. Just depends on which guy they like. Oh, Khalil Herbert. Interesting. So now they have Tariq Cohen, David Montgomery, Damian Williams, and Khalil Herbert. God, that's going to be crowded. Probably not good news for Khalil Herbert or David Montgomery. I think they just cut Damian Williams in this case. If you're drafting him, right? You have to, right? I don't know. This is weird. Let's see. Colts are on the clock. They could use offensive tackle, wide receiver still. Not much there for offensive tackle. Picks in already, so whoever they want, they're going and getting them. Broncos up next. I wonder if they take a project quarterback now. Pick 35 in round 6. Let's see where we're at, though. All right, so who the heck are they picking here? Cade Johnson would be a decent fit, honestly. So, Cade Johnson, probably somebody that plays the slot. Daz Newsome. They'll probably go big wide receiver now that I just said somebody. Oh, Sam Ellinger. Why? So now they have Carson Wentz, Sam Ellinger, and Jacob Eason. Interesting. So either they don't like Eason that much or they really like Sam Ellinger. He had one of the probably the worst pro days I've seen from a quarterback in quite some time. If you watch him throw the ball, he could his spiral, he didn't even have a tight spiral. It was kind of wobbling all over the place. So the arm strength's definitely not there. I wonder if they try to convert him to another position. Some people have talked about doing that. But, just kind of dart throw at this point in time. Would not have been my top quarterback pick on the board, at least. Let's put it that way. wonder how many quarterbacks we're at getting drafted so far. Who are the Broncos picking? So the Broncos, they could take a project quarterback. They could go offensive line. They could go defensive line. They already went safety, pretty sure. So I ain't going to suggest that one again. Yeah, they have some flexibility with this pick for sure, though. Wouldn't be a bad spot to trade out of and try to get some picks for next year, though. But I don't know how many teams are wanting to come up for a compensation 6th round pick either. I wonder who this is. I really just don't know. Packers pick next. That one could be all over the place too. God, if they pick next and they don't pick Dylan Moses, something is wrong. So let's see. We got the Packers, Bears, Panthers, Cardinals, Eagles, football team, Chiefs, Cowboys, Bears. So the Bears actually have 2 picks in this range. So I guess they had about 3 picks in about 10 or 3 picks in about a 10 pick range. So I guess maybe that's why they went Khalil Herbert. I don't hate the pick. It's just interesting pick. Especially when they still need corner. That's weird. Especially, it's kind of funny because for a while the Bears were linked to Khalil Herbert, his former teammate Puka Williams, especially when he had his pro day. I doubt they're taking him now. I wonder if they take wide receiver. They should take like wide receiver, offensive lineman, cornerback. They got a lot of different flexibility options that they could do, though. Linebacker. So Broncos take Seth Williams. That is not a good landing spot for him. Maybe he can take over that Tim Patrick role once Tim Patrick leaves, probably after this season. But I don't see too much upside there. I'm not a big Seth Williams guy in general. And this landing spot probably makes it even worse. So Packers are on the clock now. We'll see who they go with. So still looking at defensive line, linebacker. Probably could go offensive line as well. Maybe they go developmental quarterback now, too, with Aaron Rodgers pissed off at the team. If you don't trust Jordan Love fully, at least. We'll see. We'll see. They already went offensive line 3 times now. So I don't think it's offensive line. Linebacker makes the most sense, and Dylan Moses is there on the board. Like, it's right in front of your face. Just go eat the cake. But we'll see. Yeah, this round was all over. Like, round 5 is kind of full of reaches, but this round's like all over the place. There's some really good values here, though, too. Quincy Roche. I think Khalil Herbert's even a value, but I don't know how much he's actually going to play. We'll just have to see on that one. Some of these guys, they're 6th round. Oh, so they picked Isaiah McDuffie. That's probably their best pick of the draft right there. Dylan Moses probably a little bit better, but McDuffie has less downside, I guess, if you want to say that, in terms of injury risk. So that's not a bad pick. That's probably their best pick of the draft so far. And with that being said, I am going to Packers fan. And then with the Bears here, God, if they don't take corner. I don't know what's wrong with them if they don't take corner, honestly. So who are the Bears picking? They have to take a corner. And if they don't, I don't know. I mean, because even if they want a wide receiver, there's still going to be one. Oh, Daz Newsome. I like that pick. So he can do some punt return. He can play slot. Probably means Anthony Miller's gone. Even though I know Matt Nagy doesn't like Anthony Miller. Anyways, they've been trying to trade him. So I don't mind this pick, honestly. I think it's a pretty solid pick overall with that slot ability and the punt return ability as well. But we move over to the Panthers now. And they can pretty much do whatever they want. I think linebacker, God, Dylan Moses be good here. Because they kind of need linebackers still. Or can develop a young one at least. So their picks in pretty quick. Then we got the Cardinals, Eagles, Washington football team. And we're almost out of round 6, guys. So exciting. But let's see here. So Bears picked as Newsome. God, so the Bears got to pick a corner in like the last round. Did they not pick a single corner? Like, I like their draft. I just, it's just weird. Let me look. Probably going to have to give the Bears an A for this draft, Weird. So we got Justin Fields, Tevin Jenkins, Larry Borum, Khalil Herbert, Daz Newsome, and then let's see what they do with these last 2 picks, though. But they've had a pretty solid draft overall. But let's see. So Cardinals pick after this. Huh. So they took the long snapper. So the Panthers took the long snapper in the 6th round. I don't think we need to talk about the long snap 6th round. Hey, but if he's the best one, he's the best one. The Cardinals could go tight end, running back. God, I wonder if they go running back here. Makes things interesting, at least. They could go Let's see who they pick so far. So they got a 6th round pick and 2 7th round picks left. They got edge rushers already. They got corner. They got wide receiver. Could go offensive line. Could go safety. Buda Baker. They could go another corner. They could go tight end, which is listed there. Offensive line. It'd be real interesting to see what they do here. Running back definitely is interesting for sure, though. So Tagown finally comes off the board in the 6th round to the Cardinals. So they got Tagown and Marco Wilson. I think that's a pretty good pairing for, needing some corners, especially where they got these guys. 4th round, 6th round. I think that's pretty good value overall. So hopefully these guys turn out for them. Then we move over to the Eagles. They still need linebacker. Just take Dylan Moses already. So Washington could take Dylan Moses too. Kansas City's after that. I wonder if Kansas City double dips at wide receiver. I wouldn't hate it. Cowboys should take offensive line. So this is the Eagles. So let's go over the Eagles board real quick, though. So they got Devonta Smith, Landon Dickerson, Milton Williams, Zeke McPherson, Kenny Gainwell, Marlon Tuilapato. I know I said that wrong, guys. And Tyron Jackson out of Coastal Carolina. They got 2 more picks if you include this one. So linebacker makes a lot of sense here. Safety makes some sense too. So let's see here. Who are they going to take? They could take another corner. They could take a safety and take a linebacker. Let's see what we got. Come on, Eagles. Today, Junior. So I do like this pick. I think he could play safety. He could play linebacker. Similar to the pick that they had last year with Kevon Wallace out of linebacker safety hybrid. Played a little bit of both positions in college. So maybe those guys overlap. At least you got one that's probably going to work out. So don't hate that pick by any means. They were probably, that's not a bad pick at all, though. If nothing else, he's a guy that's going to be able to contribute probably on special teams. So Washington here, they could take that project quarterback now. They could take Dylan Moses. They could take more offensive line. They could take more corners. A lot of different things, honestly. Backup running back, stuff like that. Then we got Chiefs, Cowboys, and Bears. So let's see. So Jamin Davis, Samuel Cosme, Benjamin St. Juste, Diami Brown, John Bates, Derek Forrest. So the first 3 rounds were like really good, honestly. 4th round, 5th round, a little bit of reaches, but not too bad overall. They got this pick, and they actually have 3 picks in the 3rd round too. So definitely can take some shots here for sure. In we got Kansas City next. Kansas City's kind of got luxury picks here too. I wouldn't be surprised if they take like a corner or they take a second wide receiver too. God, how far will Dylan Moses and Trey Smith fall? Marvin Wilson too, actually. So those 3 guys, they're just. Let's see what we got. God, I didn't realize Jamin Davis is 6'4". It's taller than I thought. So where's this pick at, Washington? Why is this one so slow? So we have another long snapper drafted, Cameron Cheeseman out of Michigan. I guess he's got the cheese. He should have been from Wisconsin. So now we're up to a grand total of 2 long snappers drafted. Now let's see who the Chiefs take. They could double up at linebacker, or excuse me, they could double up at wide receiver. They could take offensive line. You could take a lot of things. Let's see who they got. So the pick's in for them. Then we go to the Cowboys, and then we got the Bears. So we'll figure out if the Bears draft a corner or not. Figure out what the Cowboys want to do. What do they want to do? Should be offensive line. Offensive line's really thinning out, though. Where is this Chiefs pick? There it is. So the Chiefs finally stopped the fall of Trey Smith. So getting Trey Smith in the 6th round. There is some concerns there since he did have the blood clots in his lungs before. But, you know, you're getting a heck of a player in the 6th round. If he does anything, he's worth it. So definitely a great value there overall. It's right before the Cowboys, and the Cowboys, who knows, the Cowboys might have taken him if he was still there. Apparently, they still need safety. So they need safety, offensive line for sure. Those would be probably the 2 biggest possessions. Maybe they take another corner here if they're trying to take another stab on one. Let's see, we'll go back to the Cowboys just so everybody can see what they already did. Micah Parsons, Calvin Joseph, Jose Digazoa, Chauncey Goldston, Nashawn Wright, Jabril Cox, Josh Ball, Simi Fehoko, Quentin Bohanna out of Kentucky. And they got this pick and one more after this one. So I'd say offensive line is probably the biggest thing here. Obviously, they did take Josh Ball earlier, but Not too crazy about him overall. Let's see what happens with him, though. So they went with Israel Muakamu out of South Carolina. That's the big cornerback out of there. Not a guy that I'm really high on, but it does make sense. It seems like they're going after that theme of those bigger corners for Dallas, which obviously Seattle did for a while. Dan Quinn was the defensive coordinator in Seattle before taking the head coaching job for the Atlanta Falcons, so it does make some sense that they would kind of chase after some guys like that. Then with the Bears pick here, I think they have to take cornerbacks, so I'm not sure who's actually available still. It's telling me over here Shakur Brown is like top guy available, but not really high on Shakur Brown. So we'll take a quick little look at the cornerback position. So let's see. Shakur Brown, DJ Daniel, Brian Mills. Kerry Vincent's kind of interesting. He could play slot for them. Bryce Thompson's a little bit interesting. Thomas Graham's probably... So he could probably play on the outside. Mark Gilbert, you could take the shot on him. Hopefully he's healthy or halfway healthy. But not a lot of guys out there right now, honestly. If you're looking at Trill Williams between the safety and the corner position, you could do that as well. Definitely, I think corner's probably the pick, though. They do have guard listed down as 1-2, but they did take Larry Borum earlier, whose profile is better as a guard at this point in time. And I don't think there's much else here for guard besides Robert Jones, David Moore maybe, and Cedarius Hutcherson. This guy is fine too. So they went with Thomas Graham Jr. out of Oregon. Had a very, very good Senior Bowl. And, he's probably going to profile pretty well as a slot corner. So I think that's pretty good value where they got him as well. Even though they have him overall ranked 250 and this is at pick, 228. Close enough, but I've seen plenty of boards that have him higher than that even. So we're kicking out with round 7, and the first pick is actually going to be Mike Stratton out of Charleston, West Virginia College, which is a Division II school. He's a very interesting guy. 6'5", 226, ran in the 4.4s, jumped pretty well as well. Very, very raw prospect, but in the 7th round, somebody that you can definitely take a chance on. See what the Raiders do here. Defensive tackle would make some sense. They could go with... Did Marvin Wilson go? I don't think he did. So they could go with Marvin Wilson here. In the 7th round, you can definitely take that shot. Definitely not going to hurt you too bad overall there. We'll see what happens, though. So Marvin Wilson would probably be the smart pick at this point in time, but so the Raiders went with Jimmy Morrissey out of Pittsburgh. I don't hate him as an offensive, as a center prospect, but I'd rather have Drake Jackson. I think he's still available. So somebody's going to take Drake Jackson and be pretty happy with it. Could be the Dolphins here even. They could use some help at the center position too. Linebacker, or they also could look at edge. They could look at running back. They could look at some more offensive line, some more defensive line, maybe another developmental safety or a cornerback. Not many pressing needs, but still a lot of guys they could take a shot on overall. Looks like the Panthers are up next, then the Rams. Then once this is done, I'll probably go through some of these guys that didn't get drafted and, kind of mention the ones that I did like that didn't get drafted, if there are any left. This is Larnell Coleman out of UMass, and I'll be honest, guys, I don't really know too much about him. I don't even think he was on this list here. Not somebody that I really scouted myself, so small school guy, obviously, and, 7th round pick, definitely a guy to take a dart throw on, if nothing else. So the Panthers are up. Panthers, I suggest maybe you could go with somebody like a Darius Hutcherson. Maybe you could go, I don't even know at this point. Like, most offensive linemen are gone already, so. Let's see who they picked, though. And yeah, you guys are seeing it now. You're seeing small school guy, Pittsburgh center, small school guy. So don't be surprised if you see a lot more small school guys in this last round. So they went with Phil Hoskins, who's the other defensive tackle out of Kentucky. Kind of a little bit of interesting pick here just because they did take Davion Nixon earlier on in the draft, but just building up more depth at that defensive line position. Probably a guy that's just going to play that, that one technique in that 4-3 defense for them. They definitely could go offensive line. They could go Drake Jackson at center, which is kind of position need. They could look at safety. They could do a little bit of everything. Probably do edge rusher as well. No, did they take Quincy Roche? No, that was the Steelers. Never mind. So they got a little bit of different possibilities here. The Rams have had quite the interesting draft overall. They're kind of drafting like the Raiders. Must be I'd say it must be an LA thing, but Raiders are in Las Vegas, so. And we got the Eagles up next, then the Bengals. So. So we'll see who the Rams pick, though. They could probably go with a corner as well, if there was one they like. Come on, Rams. least these picks are moving kind of quick. We're just waiting for the Rams one to come in at least. Come on, Rams. Where's this pick at? It's lost. So after Rams, Broncos got 2 picks and 3 there. Let's try to see who's got what left. So, okay, so the Rams selected Jake Funk out of Maryland. And, he's kind of with some other guys there at Maryland where he didn't really have a big opportunity. Really killed it in his pro day, though. Good season this year before all the, Maryland got COVID and missed a lot of games because of it, too. So, definitely a good upside pick, especially in the 7th round. And watch out, Cam Akers. See what the Eagles got here. So, they could definitely go corner again. They did safety the last time out. They could take a shot at another wide receiver if they really want to. Offensive lineman. A little bit of different possibilities here as well. Maybe they take a shot on like Felipe Franks and put him behind Jalen Hurts and have, similar type of quarterbacks. Obviously, they did sign Joe Flacco, but it's Joe Flacco. So they took Patrick Johnson. So they got him an outside linebacker out of Tulane. Kind of an edge rusher, probably a better fit for 3-4. Be real interesting to see what they do with him, whether they keep him at linebacker or whether they put him at D-end. So interesting pick there. Maybe one with a little bit of upside, but we'll just have to see how it pans out and what their plan overall is for him too. The Eagles have a history of, drafting players that play one position and then trying to get them to play a different position as well. So Bengals are up now. They could definitely go more offensive line. They could go tight end. Quentin Morris. Come on, guys. I really hope Quentin Morris gets drafted because, that dude can ball. And, he honestly deserves it. There's so many of these guys that out here that do deserve it, though, too. So, a little bit more than others. And I think, the fact that some of these guys haven't been drafted so far, it's just kind of crazy. But, it is what it is. It's the NFL draft. Every team's got their own, scouting evaluations and everything else like that. So it's not like my scouting is all be all either. So different people see different things. So they go with Wyatt Hubert. That's a pretty good pick there.